good, man? It's your boy Derek Branch of Strike7Sports.com. In this episode of the Strike 7 Sports Podcast, I'm joined by my co-host Brian Botter, Leo and Seaberry. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. This is our first episode of the 2022 calendar year. Just wish all y'all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope you have a prosperous New Year. And we're back at it with a new episode tonight. And first thing we're gonna get into tonight is the Antonio Brown situation, the drama that unfolded a few days ago with Bucks wide receiver Antonio Brown. And I'm just paraphrasing for y'all real quick of what happened. So according to the reports and the facts that have came out lately, this past Sunday, Browns, well, not Browns, but Antonio Brown, they were in a game with the New York Jets, and Brown was stated to Arians, the coach Arians, that he wasn't feeling the best with his ankle situation, and Arians wanted him to go back in the game for the plays in the formation that they ran that's calls for his skill set for what he can do, but didn't allow him to go back in the game. Well, he didn't want to go back in the game because his ankle wasn't feeling the best. And from according to Antonio Brown, that's when Brett Arians said you're done. Pretty much pointing like a finger to his neck or something like a cut sign. So you're done. And so after that, AB just took off his pads, his helmet, his gloves, stormed into the crowd, took off the helmet and not the jersey in the past, put it together, put it to the side, left it, and pretty much jog off the field with his shirt off. So lately, a lot of different stories have came out, a lot of opinions on it. AB has put out a statement from his attorney. The Bucks released him. There's just a lot that came out from dating back to that Sunday and to today. And I'm going to read just a little bit of a report that came out from ESPN speaking on that situation. 4 days after wide receiver Antonio Brown threw off his helmet and dashed off the field in the middle of a game against the New York Jets, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have terminated his contract effective immediately, the team announced Thursday. Quote, while Antonio did receive treatment on his ankle and was listed on the injury report the week leading up to last Sunday's game, he was cleared to play by our medical team prior to the start of the game, and at no point during the game did he indicate to our medical personnel that he could not play. We have attempted multiple times throughout this week to schedule an evaluation by an outside orthopedic specialist, yet Antonio has not complied. Maintaining the health and wellness of our players is of the most importance to our organization. Brown and attorney Sean Burston said Wednesday that the wide receiver told the Buccaneers he was too old to continue playing on an injured ankle, but Coach Bruce Arians rebutted having any knowledge of the nature of his outburst, nor did he say Brown communicated to him or to the training staff that his ankle was bothering him. At no point during that game did he ever ask the trainer or doctor about his ankle. That's the normal protocol, Arians said Thursday. We go through protocols during games. I was never notified of it. Obviously, that was a disturbing thing. We were looking for him to go back into the game. Arians said Brown was agitated at halftime of Sunday's game against the Jets about not getting the targets he was expecting and that he had to be calmed down. Brown's attorney told ESPN that the receiver's ankle injury and not targets was the source of Brown's frustration. To that, Arians responded with a chuckle. The players know the truth. Things escalated in the third quarter. We called for the personnel group that he played in the entire game. He refused to go into the game, Arians said. Arians said, that's when I looked back and saw him basically wave up the coach and then went back, approach him about what was going on. Arians said, Brown said, I ain't playing. Arians said he asked what's going on. He said, Brown responded with, I ain't getting the ball. That's when I said, quote, that's when I said, you're done. Get the F out of here, said Arians, who added that he pointed to the exits and did not make a throat-slashing gesture, which Brown accused him of. Brooks general manager Jason Light told ESPN on Thursday that Brown and his agent requested last week that the remaining $2 million in contract incentives for this season be guaranteed. The team declined that request, but Arians said he has always supported Browns and every other player's request to meet their incentives. All right, man. So I'm gonna just close it off right there. I'm just get y'all thoughts on the whole situation as a whole on regarding AB.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, Antonio Brown's a clown. That's the way I describe him. He had a great opportunity to play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was able to win a Super Bowl, so I'm happy for him. But he just didn't handle the situation the right way, and ultimately he cost up. There's really more than. I hope he gets another crack, but he'll have to show a team a lot before they give him an opportunity. And so NFL stands for not for long for a reason, other than National Football League. And if you don't, if you squander your opportunities, get rid of you. It just comes simple as that. So unfortunately, you have to go.
Just so disappointed in AB. I don't like AB. I just feel that he's not. He can't. I don't think he can. He's built to handle the NFL anymore. I just don't think he is. Talent-wise, he's there, but I just think there are some other things missing that need to be there personally, and I feel that trying to alleviate like those. Trying to say just throw it, just man, he's not a tough player anymore that you just throw out there and just say play football. He needs to be helped with whatever's going on. Like, and I feel that there are some personal things going on with him. I don't know those things. I'm not aware of those things, but I just feel that there are, and I feel that he needs to be worked with. And I don't think that his NFL career is done. But I do think that shouldn't really be a factor right now because if you all saw the reports. But they didn't cut him yesterday. They were trying to see what the NFL was going to do, like to help them out, try to help him out, give him some sort of help or whatever he may have going on. But I guess the end result was they did end up releasing him. So I think that should come first before we determine what his NFL future is.
Anything else with that, Brian?
One more thing. It'll be a smaller thing that'll be talked about, but I think the guy who they're going to replace him with scored the touchdown that helped them beat the Jets. So we should also be talking about how that maybe is done, at least for now. It opens up an opportunity for someone who may have just not gotten an opportunity. Maybe he hadn't screwed up. So I'm rooting for the kid. I think his name is, I don't know his name exactly.
Stuart Grayson?
Yeah. I think that's it. I'm glad he's getting the opportunity. But AB has had too many chances. But I agree with Leah. He needs to get his mental health right before he gets on the football field again.
Are we sure it's mental health or is just AB being AB? Because
I don't know.
it's just the narrative is that
Figured it out.
the narrative is that ever since he took the hit against the hit from Vontaze Burfict in the playoff game against Cincinnati is where he went off the rails. That I don't really agree with that. That's kind of a lazy take, you know. It just AB has been going off the rails since before that hit. You know, he's been like a teammate, been this type of teammate ever since. I think he is the ultimate diva. You know, if you want to say that. You know, great player, great talent. Teams are willing to deal with his issues until they can no longer deal with it. Thought, you know, maybe things could have worked out with Tampa Bay with Tom Brady there, but even that's falling through. But hopefully, man, whatever it is, man, AB gets the help that he needs. This is a very, you know, strange story that this guy had an ankle injury that wasn't allowing him to play, not allowing him to go back in the game. But the coach didn't know about it. But you know, you want him to go back in the game, but he says no because his ankle. It could be it could be a lot of things, man. We really don't know about. It could be the targets, man. You know what I'm saying? Could be the lack of targets. But it just I'm trying not to say too much on it, man, because it's just a lot as still stuff come out every day on the story. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope he gets the help that he needs to get. And I hope he just tighten it up before it's too late, before his career is over, before no teams have interest in him like they did for Terrell Owens. And Terrell Owens was like a whole different situation right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was funny, Terrell Owens. I don't know if you saw this. He was trying to, if they need a receiver, they should call him. He's always trying to do that. But yeah, Antonio Brown, I hope he gets another chance, but I'll be stunned if he gets another chance at this point.
You'll be
stunned? At
stunned?
least, I think done this season, maybe next season, but I'll be stunned.
Yeah,
he has to prove to the organization for them to give him a chance.
Yeah, he'll get back on the field, man. I think he'll get back on the field soon. Well, next season, man. Somebody's gonna take a flyer on him, man. Maybe Dallas, maybe be Green Bay. Somebody's gonna take a chance on him, man. Chicago, somebody will sign this guy. I don't think he's gonna sit on the sidelines that long, on the unemployment line that long. I don't think nobody's gonna bring him in for the playoffs. Unless it's the Rams. They always need more. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's just a layered story, man. Story got many layers to it that we don't know about. I just find it strange that he had these issues leading up to the game, and it wasn't reported. Just interesting. But we'll see. All right, so next we're gonna talk about college football, man, and talk about how Alabama is dominating college football, the landscape of college football, and it seems that no teams can really uproot them from their position as a college football powerhouse, unless it's Clemson. But I want to point some out here with Alabama and their records over the years, and the teams that were able to beat them in the region the region that team was from. So I'm gonna date it back from to 2000. I would say 2014. 2014, the first year of the college football playoffs. They lost to Ole Miss that year. And they got clipped by Ohio State in the playoffs by Cardell Jones. Ohio State won the national championship that year. 2015, they lost against the Ole Miss, and they won the national championship against Deshaun Watson. They went 14-1. 2016, they went undefeated again, lost to Clemson in the national championship game. 2017, they went 13-1, won the national championship again. They lost to I think it was to Auburn that year, won the national championship game against Georgia. 2018. Went undefeated that year, lost against Clemson in the national championship game, 14-1. 2019, LSU got them, and Auburn got them, so they didn't no playoff appearance. 2020, 13-0. Pretty much one of the best teams of that era of Saban. Pandemic year, they won the national championship. This year, they lost to Texas A&M. But they're able to get a rebound, get into the national championship game. They beat Cincinnati. So I say all that to say, the teams that have given Alabama problems are teams that are in the South for the most part. Teams that are situated in this near the Mason-Dixon line. Team like Ole Miss that had the personnel to mess with them that year with Hugh Freeze. He beat him. Clemson, Dabo Swinney, a guy that can recruit, bring in the guy that can bring the same type of players as Saban. He beat him. LSU, at Orgeron, he got lucky. He got Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Queen, all those great players. He beat him. It's just the team. Auburn, they got him. With in the South, Texas, they're situated in the South. They beat him. So you see the pattern here. So I want to ask y'all, well, the other teams that are like, do you ever think there's going to be a time where a team like in the Midwest is going to beat Alabama outside of Ohio State?
Yeah,
That's not in the South.
I think it's possible. While those teams are in the South, those teams not only have great coaches, they recruit at a high level, and I think that's the key. So if you can do those, if you have great coaches and recruit at a high level, you have a chance to beat Alabama. And if you don't, it's going to be really hard to do that. It's just as simple as that. So I don't really look at that. I see where you're going, but I'm not sure if like when I look at that, Clemson won because they're in the South. I just looked at they're really well coached and had great. And so I feel like if Lincoln Riley, for example, can do that at USC, it's going to be harder than some people think because Oregon, they're going to take a small step back, but they'll be there pretty soon. And USC, someone made the good point. It's hard to get those big bodies that you have in the Southeast on the West Coast. So he'll have to do some recruiting in Texas and on that West Coast, on the East Coast to get some of the bodies you'll need to beat in Alabama. But I don't think it's impossible for a team that's not in the South to beat Alabama. I just think, again, they got to have the great coaches and the great recruits. You do those. And I think you also have to have an elite quarterback to win team. And Lincoln Riley, he has that part down. You know he'll have an elite quarterback. So the question is, can he get better recruits at USC? I think that's part of the reason why he took that job. And can he get better staff recruit at that level? Or can he start staff members to get to that? And if other schools like that can do that, then I think they can beat in Alabama.
Like you said, I kind of don't look at it as a area thing, but I kind of see what he's saying too, because like you said, you have to look at that too, because like you were saying, it's hard to get those big Brian. It's hard to get those big body guys out there on the West Coast. You don't see those big burly linemen playing at USC and Washington State and UCLA like you're seeing, and those cornbread fed guys that are down in the SEC. But I do think there's something. You do have something there, because as you notice on the big stages, Alabama goes to work against those teams that aren't from the South. Like when they played Ohio State in the playoffs, you saw what happened. Dominated. And then these teams, the teams that are giving them, like you said, the LSUs, the Clemsons, even the Auburns in their own state,
Yeah.
giving them the problems. And so you have to think about that too. And obviously Texas A&M gave them problems. And so I think teams within their conference, the team that they play regularly, some of the time they play up to Bama, and maybe Bama sometimes plays down to them. But I think a lot of times they play up to Bama. Whereas when other teams from around like a nation, when they get like in the playoffs, I think it's just like a Cincinnati, which I think deserved to be there. But when they got there, you just see that it's levels to this when you're in comparison to like the SEC in general. Like there's just levels. Even though the bowl record wasn't great, there's still a class in their own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. But I want to add this to it as well. All right, so what are the top schools in the Midwest? East Coast, region. Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame. What's another one? Cincinnati. You can add them to that list. Who else? That's pretty much it, ain't it?
You maybe say Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. I mean, but they're not even. They played Alabama before, and it was no contest. It's these schools. On top of that, these schools got strict academic standards.
That's a good point.
And I don't even know if the NIL could even have a factor with going forward beating Alabama. That's why I say the teams that are gonna give him the issues or in the South gotta have good head coaches, good quarterback play, and good recruits. I mean Jim Harbaugh is legit, is straight. But I like that scheme he's running ain't going is not gonna cut it against an SEC school. It's just that simple.
I think it's part of it's a talent issue.
Yeah.
Part of it, I don't know if it's necessarily scheming. I think this Georgia defense may go down as one of the greatest defenses of all time.
Hey, you know what, man? You know what? I don't know if I could give him that, man, because see, this is the thing why we might need more playoff games because questions don't get answered. Because if they played Ohio State, then we probably could say that was one of the greatest defenses ever. But they didn't play Ohio State.
But you can only play who's in front of you. You can't worry about that.
I can't agree with you on that, DB. They beat who was in front of them. They can't. It's not their fault Michigan won.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not their fault. And they just only, like you said, I'm not going to lie. Now, I do agree, Brian. It would have been more fun to see them play against Ohio State because I'm not going to lie. Michigan's offense isn't built. Like, they have great backs, but their quarterbacks are just, both of them were just so limited.
Yeah.
Georgia really game plan. Brian, all they had to do was, during DB, all they had to really do was, I mean, it's hard considering Michigan State Michigan has a really good run game, but obviously they had one of the top defenses in the country in Georgia. All they do is really stop the run.
Yeah.
Really, you could give them whatever they're going to get in the pass game, which wasn't going to be much. And it wasn't much. So all you had to do was really stop the run. They only had to play one really part of defense was stopping the run, and you saw what happened.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this: do you think this is going to change anytime soon, or it's going to be more the same?
Wait, one other thing I was going to add, because you know who Josh Pate is?
Yeah, I know. I listen to Pate.
He said, like, a lot of the way we look at college football, a lot of it is kind of like, what's the right word? I don't know. Maybe we're a little delusional. Like, we think that some of these teams are unbeatable when you think about it, and some of them are really tough to beat, but we're in an era where we have the greatest coach of all time. And so Nick Saban is so dominant, it makes us, like, not think that once he leaves that it's going to be like there'll be another school that does that. They didn't use these exact words, but basically saying that this isn't going to last forever. And if you don't have patience, then you may not be able to build, like a coach that's building, for example, I can't think of one off the top of my head, or maybe let's say a guy like Jimbo Fisher. He's doing a good job recruiting. But he only beat Saban this 1 year, and he just lost the quarterback that helped him beat Saban. That doesn't mean he can't ever win a national championship. It just may not be in the Saban era. Same thing with Kirby Smart. Like, even though I think Georgia should win this game, this is definitely his best shot to beat Alabama because they're kind of vulnerable. She still doesn't have that elite quarterback, even though there's a difference. Like, Stetson Bennett has been playing at an elite level, just not against Bama.
He said elite level.
Yeah, but
man. I don't know, man.
Or an elite talent. Let's put it that way.
You can say Texans done everything they've asked them.
Except for beat Bama. And some people have said, I want to hear y'all's thoughts after I finish. Some people thought that Georgia didn't maybe play as hard because they knew they were going to be in that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Playoff. Yeah. I don't know if I want to buy that. Yeah. Especially when they got beat the way they got beat. But that's I want to hear what y'all have to say. But my closing thing about it today is it's really hard to win in this Nick Saban era. And not saying you can't beat him because Clemson's been able to prove it. But I think
you got to have...
Like, for example, Michigan had a good season, and some people think their season... I know they didn't play Alabama, but some people think their season was a failure. When if you look at what they were able to accomplish, it was still a pretty good season. They just ran into a really good team. So I think we should appreciate some success for what it is and have patience towards winning. But then that being said, at some point you have to get over the hump. And like Georgia, if they don't beat Alabama this year, it's kind of like what it was with Jim Harbaugh and Ohio State. When are you going to beat them? When Nick Saban retires? Well, who knows when that will be. So I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on do you think that maybe Alabama's dominance maybe makes people overreact in college football? And do you think Georgia maybe didn't try as hard at that SEC championship. And also one other question: do you think Georgia should put JT Daniels in the game if Stetson Bennett struggles in the Natty?
All right, man. So, do you think people become prisoners of the moment? To a certain extent, I think it's Alabama though. It's Nick Saban, it's the brand. People gonna automatic every time. If it's not Clemson or a team that people have 100% confidence in that they can beat Alabama, it's always gonna be Alabama's the favorite because they've done it so much times. It's cliche. So people gonna be prisoner of the moment for what Alabama does. In regards to Georgia not trying, it's possible, man. Once they got there, they were the number one team in the country. It'd have been unfair if the committee dropped them out of the top four if they lost to Alabama. So there may be some truth there, but I think they just Alabama was ready to play that game. They were motivated. They were here, the talk before the game about how Alabama was gonna get blown out and the old line was vulnerable. I think Bama was just motivated, Now I don't know what Georgia can do from this game to this game that can allow them to beat Alabama. Going to do look more into it, but I don't know what you got the same QB. How they gonna pressure the offensive line? Because last time, Cincinnati played Alabama better than Georgia.
Yeah.
So I don't know what scheme or what tactics that they can do that can allow them to beat Alabama this year, but second time. But in regards to putting JT Daniels in, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Let me ask you this: who do you think is more talented?
Daniels, he's a 5-star recruit.
I'm not saying that automatically equates to them beating Alabama, but we've seen what Stetson Bennett has done against Alabama. And look, maybe he changes the narrative, and part of it, I'm not going to put it all on him. He's going to have to, the run game is going to have to help him out, and the defense is going to have to play much better. But if we see the same thing, you're in the Natty, you have nothing to, well, you have everything to lose. But let's put it this way: this is the last game. You roll the dice, in my opinion. If it doesn't work, at least you have that option. You used the option you had instead of just losing it and didn't try that. That's all I'm saying. But I want to hear what you have to say, Leah. He had a confused face for a second.
Yeah, he did.
That was bad.
Yeah, I was kind of baffled when he talked about how Cincinnati played them better than Georgia.
They did. Alabama put 41 points on over 40 points on Georgia.
Only 27 on Cincy.
Yeah,
only 27.
How many points? But how many since he scored though?
Not that much, but still. But they held him down. They held him. He held him.
Yeah.
What?
He held him.
That's Alabama's defense. They do that to everybody.
They didn't need to score 40 against Cincinnati. We knew Cincinnati went. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Cincinnati would put up a better fight than they did. But let's get back to Brian's questions. Really, I think. Well, if you start with I think people can be prisoners of the moment because I think Bama just. But it hasn't just been a moment for Bama though. It's just been years. They've been dominant for so long. I guess I see why people think it's just Bama and there's everybody else because they've been the one consistent since Saban got there after his first season. Man, we've seen them. They're probably the greatest dynasty I think in college football ever, in my opinion. And I would assume that's just the case. I mean, I haven't heard of anybody else being 6 championships in as many years. And when Brian said that post, I think from CBS Sports, they talked about the years he's been in the championship versus the years he hasn't been. It's crazy. It is. I don't think, and now switching to what you were talking about, the Georgia losing on purpose, not losing on purpose, but maybe not trying as hard. I think that's, you know what, because do you think they wanted to see Bama again?
They didn't play like they didn't want to see again. That may be true. And look, I did see, so it'll be real quick, one of the ESPN analysts, he just showed that some of the stuff Georgia was doing that confused some of the other offenses, Alabama used that to their advantage and they tricked them. And so there was some schematic stuff that they did. It wasn't just like they didn't try. They did, like there's this one play where this guy thought he was going to get a free rush on Bryce Young, but Bryce Young got it out quick enough or threw it to a guy where he just was hard for him to cover and they were able to pick up yards. So some of it was schematic. So I don't want to blame it all on them. Georgia just not trying. I was just wanting to point that out. Go ahead, Leo.
But yeah, I don't think Georgia wants to see Bama again. Like I don't, because Bama, like you said, it's been their kryptonite. Bama has been their kryptonite. If it weren't for Bama, Kirby Smart would have. I think Kirby Smart would already have a national championship. I think he'd be. He's already an elite coach. Kirby's elite already. I think he's better than what Mark Richt was. I think he's taking that to the next level. And Mark Richt was a good coach.
Yeah, he was.
But I think he's taking it to the next level, especially being his alma mater. It's great what he's done there. But like I said, y'all, I have a question for y'all. What do y'all think about Georgia being 3-point favorites opening it up? Y'all think that's good, or do y'all
They're
think
3-point favorites?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Damn.
I think it's fair.
I mean, that's saying something. That says a lot about Vegas and what they think about Georgia. 3-point favorites, man. After what Alabama did, man.
Vegas is usually right.
I'm just looking at the quarterback, man. I just I just don't see it, man. Like, you gotta have like a first round pick level quarterback to beat Alabama. First, second round pick to beat him. And first round wide receivers.
Do you think Zach Calzada's a first round pick?
That's exactly.
Yeah, man. All right, hold on.
Yeah, they do have a.
Hold on. Was Johnny Manziel first round NFL at the time during the height of his run? Do y'all thought Johnny Manziel was a first round pick?
Probably, yeah.
Well, at the time, you hear from Kyle Hurd, a few others, is that the reason why Texas A&M got Alabama in that game with Manziel is because Alabama was in a tough game with LSU a week prior and they were tired.
I don't want to hear that.
I mean,
they got beat.
Like I think, man, now you gotta have an NFL quarterback to beat Alabama, man. I just think you just do.
So
Calzada, I mean, it happens, man. You can get Alabama on a bad day. It can happen, man. But Texas A&M got, NFL talent too, though. Like I said.
Yeah. Isaiah Spiller is a very much NFL bound back. He's probably one of the best backs in the country. I feel like he's very underrated from the Texas A&M back. But I have a question. That was what you make a good point, D, because Joel Klatt was talking about on Fox Sports on the Coward Show. Yeah. He was talking about normally when he comes to picking, because they were talking about how Georgia was the favorite going into the game according to Vegas. But he was talking about normally when he picks these type of games, because if you took their quarterbacks, like if you just ignored the quarterback, it's really a pick 'em game. But you have to look at the quarterback, and he said historically, normally he picks the quarterback, who's the team the best quarterback. But he feels like in this case, Georgia's unit. It's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. It is very hard, and all those adjustments that I don't think they went wrong for them. They went wrong for Georgia. They're going to adjust to those things. They've been probably pouring over that film, and I personally, y'all, I think Georgia. I don't want to say Georgia. You know what? I'm going to go on a limb and say, you know what? Georgia wins the game.
If I had to bet money, I wouldn't bet a lot of it because I kind of still don't trust. If I had to bet like $5, I'll pick Georgia. That's what I do. But
come on now, bro.
The thing is, again, it's kind of funny what you're saying. So let me ask you this: do you think JT Daniels is he like what you're describing about what it takes to beat Alabama? Do you think he has that in him?
Yeah. He a 5-star recruit, bro. You don't. He a 5-star, man. He got a better man.
5-star. He's really good. I think what happened is he got hurt and the Stetson Bennett was playing too good where you had to. It was the right decision to keep him in.
Was he?
But it got you to this point. If he
Are
struggles,
you just playing against bad teams?
He was doing good against bad teams.
He beat Michigan. That's a respectable team.
Yeah, Michigan beat Ohio State. I can't get over that right there. Michigan beat Ohio State, but can't beat Georgia. Michigan and Ohio State got better weapons, way better.
Ohio State wasn't as good on defense.
Yeah, their defense sucked this year.
What was I gonna say? So, if JT Daniels just gets the opportunity to play, do you think he can beat Alabama? That's all I want to know.
Yeah. If Kirby gotta take the the reins off, man. He can't be conservative, man.
Yeah, I think he'll take risk. He did try. I know y'all remember that play with Fields. That was a risky play, and it could have worked if Fields had made the read quicker. That play they tried in the SEC title game against that fake punt, but sometimes we think that's a bad call. But I saw what they're trying to do. He had it. He just didn't make the play.
Hey, let me tell y'all this point this out about Kirby Smart. Did you know that he had Justin Fields at one time, but decided to go with what a buddy name is with the Giants right now?
Jake Fromm.
Yeah, decided to go with Jake Fromm.
Jake Fromm was cold.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
He would have had a national shit. He probably would have beat up him if he had Justin Fields. This dude went with Jake Fromm.
I think it went out the way because Fields got his crack at Bama. We saw what happened when he had his crack.
Man, nobody was beating up Bama. The 2020 year, pandemic year, nobody was beating up Bama that year, man.
Hot take. What's his name did the right thing. He did the right thing sticking with Fromm. Fromm was playing well.
He was.
Playing well. And if you think about it, if they make a few more plays in that natty against Tua, they win it. And so Fromm isn't the sexiest quarterback, but he was pretty solid. And so, look, if Justin Fields waits, the problem, one thing I hate about this transfer thing for some of these guys, they're in great situations. They just don't want to wait their turn. They want to just play right away. And sometimes the best thing for you is waiting. Like, for example, today, one of Arkansas's quarterbacks, I think KJ Jefferson will have one more year, then he'll probably leave. One of their quarterbacks just is going to enter the portal tomorrow. I just don't understand why these guys don't want to wait their turn. And you'll have a chance to shine, but everyone wants to play right away. And some guys I understand, like, you want to get to the NFL quicker. I get it a little bit. But sometimes patience is the right thing. Like, for example, Kyler Murray, he was able to wait, sit behind Baker Mayfield, and he was able to thrive in 1 year and made it NFL, the number one pick. So some people think you got to have a lot of starting experience to be a first-round pick. That's not the case. It's what you do in your time at the start is what matters.
Yeah, and I agree. And to add on to that, like I was saying, like the portal, like I'm in favor of the portal, but like it's getting out of hand. Like every day I'm looking up and seeing Billy Jones is transferred from South Alabama and he's going to so and so, and so and so is going so. I'm just think it's okay, but like they need to put a handle on it, and because it's getting out of hand. Like, and these guys, and what I have the problem with the most is not the transferring. Like I used to be in favor of the rule of you can play immediately. You couldn't. You're not. We've been able to. Because I hated when they said at first that you couldn't play immediately, but this got to the point to where, jeez, I think you should have to sit out a year now. Because it's getting out of hand.
Get out of there with
it's
that.
It's getting out of hand. Like,
if these
bro.
coaches get to leave right away. Now, the one thing, I was listening to Josh Pate again. We'll bring him up again. He did make a good point. Like, a lot of people want to compare the coaches, and it kind of is the same. The only thing is coaches can't leave in the middle of the season. They have this, if you want to, and he's like, if we want to treat these people like professionals, because they kind of are now, they're no longer student athletes, because the NLI and all this, then let's kind of do what the coaches do. We should have like a window where you can enter it and where you can't, and then take it from there. And I think they're gonna move towards that pretty soon. I was wondering, y'all thought, came up with this idea. Do you think if someone enters the portal that they can't come back, or do you think that's a little, or should there at least be a waiting period? Like, well, not a waiting period, but you can only stay in the portal for so long if you're gonna come back. But if you pass that threshold, then you have to you can't come back to your current school. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna ask you a question first. Do you want Caleb Williams back?
Yeah, but you're asking a personal question. Of course I want. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Yeah, I want him back. But
and do you care how long it takes for him to make his decision as long as he comes back?
Yeah and no. But the good thing is, if we were if let's say we had not gotten Dylan Gabriel, yeah, I would be worried because he's holding us hostage. But because we have a plan B, I'm fine with it. But the problem with that is, like, when I say holding them hostage, I'm saying, like, if you wait too long, some of these guys you may not be able to replace them, and then now you're in a tough position. But if you give them a window, then you can be talking to someone too, and then this is the deadline we've given him. If he doesn't reach it, then he's no longer coming back. And so that's the way I look at it. But yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of getting out of hand, but I've yet to hear any criticism of these coaches when they leave. I hear some criticism, but it's not the same in my opinion. We forgot to talk about the Kirk Herbstreit thing. Y'all want to do that?
The what?
The Kirk Herbstreit comment.
Man, come on, man. It's the next topic, man.
Never.
Y'all have to enlighten me on what those are.
All right. So we're gonna segue to this next topic on the Kirk Herbstreit in the bowl situation. So on it's Thursday. Well, New Year's was Saturday, right? New Year's Day was Saturday. So they did a college game day from the Rose Bowl, and Kirk Herbstreit made some remarks about the players not being fully invested into playing the bowl games unless it was a CFP or the national championship game. And I got the audio pulled up from those remarks that he made. Just give me a second. Just give me a second real quick. All right, here we go. Man, they tripping, man. Here we go. All right, man.
Money, the amount of money, like what's the difference as a player in saying these games are meaningless when, Des, we played in quote-unquote meaningless games. I mean, I know you guys were here a lot, but I just don't understand. If you don't make it to the playoff, how is it meaningless to play football and compete? Isn't that what we do as football players? We compete. So I don't know if changing and expanding it is going to change anything. I really don't. I think this era of player just doesn't love football.
That's what I was about to say. We're dealing with a total different mentality when we're dealing with these student athletes nowadays, especially the football players. I mean, their whole mentality right now is about the championship, the playoff. We got to get into the CFB or the CFP. And because of that, they don't value the bowl games. Now, when we were coming up, Herbstreit and myself, like to go to a bowl game was a huge reward for a fantastic season. That's what it meant. It's like, okay, your team played this well, so you're going to be rewarded by going to this bowl game. You're going to get a ring. You're going to get swag. Now, kids don't really care about that. They have a sense of entitlement, and it's like if we're not going to the one that matters, then it just doesn't have as much value to them as it did us growing up.
All right, so he made those remarks, and Twitter went off. Pretty much, a lot of people with these takes about who was the guy that set out? Leonard Fournette. He set out, and he's doing pretty well right now, and it's just a lot of he got dragged. He got dragged for the most part because what made it worse is that Matt Corral of Ole Miss, he got injured, and luckily, thankfully, it wasn't a bad injury, but people got more enraged by that because he didn't have to play in that bowl. So I want to ask y'all. I'm gonna share my thoughts. I'm gonna close out with my thoughts, but I'm gonna ask y'all: do y'all think the bowl games are meaningless? If it ain't the CFP,
I'll take this one first since I'm already talking. I think it just depends. And one thing I'll talk about is this. The people that are opting out, it's not like, for the most part, there are some people that think they're better than they really are, that probably could help themselves more if they played in the bowl game. But the people that are opting out for the most part are big-time talents that are just that just don't feel the risk to do it. And it's the right decision, in my opinion. You got to do what's best for you. And then there's this one situation that some people, I don't think it's happening often, but this one coach held out his player. He's actually from Memphis. You know him, Tyler Beatty, Missouri running back. Yeah, his coach held him out because he just wasn't right. And so we just got to be careful when we're saying these guys just don't. Me personally, this is how I look at it. Everyone should do what's best for them and take it from there. And let's talk about the people that are playing, not the people that aren't playing. If you look at it that way, then you'll be like, why are we taking away from the guys that are playing in the game to talk about the guys that aren't playing in the game? That doesn't make any sense. But it just depends on the individual school and player, if the bowl games mean anything. I can't speak for anybody, but I know the people in Memphis, for example, the bowl game means something to us. It was unfortunate what happened with that Hawaii Bowl, but it means something to them. So it just depends on the coaches and the players, and that's all I can really say for right now. I can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts on it.
go ahead, Leo.
Oh, my bad. Well, I honestly agree with everything they said. Like, I would say bowl games are meaningless because, I don't think they're meaningless because I think for a lot of these schools that know they're not, most of these schools know they're not winning national championship. So getting to a bowl game for a lot of these schools is an accomplishment. And it also depends on what school you went to. Like, they have those CFP expectations. Like, you at Belmont and y'all go to the Holiday Bowl. Okay, y'all not gonna be happy with that. But they do make a good point. Like, they were talking about how have y'all seen anybody big opt out of the college football playoff?
Nobody will ever do it. But it will have to be an injury where they feel like they can hurt it worse to do that. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but it'll be a unique situation. I don't think someone that is healthy and can play will do that.
No, I was asking that to make a point. I had somebody already done it. Now, obviously nobody has, but it's because they feel like there is a sense of like entitlement because if we aren't playing in the Rose Bowl, if we aren't playing in the Peach Bowl, if we aren't playing in the Sugar Bowl, then you know what? I'm just not going to play at all. And I think that's not fair.
They're starting to say those are meaningless though.
Hmm?
But they're starting to say that if those games aren't they're not CFP sites, people are saying that they're meaningless.
They're meaningless to.
Because if
I don't know.
if you're a draft pick, you shouldn't play. If you're the first round pick, you shouldn't play. Unless you finish,
Yeah.
though. Unless you finish.
I just feel that personally, I feel that it varies from team to team because, like I just said, Alabama or Michigan's hard to be satisfied with not an orange bowl, but like a regular bowl. But like somebody like a Memphis, like y'all don't think Memphis when they made the Cotton Bowl,
Oh, that was a big deal.
That was huge.
That was huge, man.
Yeah, like it just really varies from school to school, and every school cannot be put in one box. But I do think like for the big with your primary focus really mainly like the SEC, the big Power 5 schools, and a lot of those schools feel like we don't get in a certain bowl game, this is another. Even perfect example, LSU in the Texas Bowl. They got dragged. No offense to LSU.
Yeah, they ain't no team. Everybody out.
but like the Texas Bowl, had there been a Sugar Bowl, you think they would have opted out?
Nah, 'cause that's pretty much in the home crowd, so they're not opting out there.
I mean, I didn't think about that. I think they would have. One interesting nugget on that. Another question I'd like to ask real quick. What do you think about the red shirt thing? Because you probably heard about Nussmeier. They wanted him to play, but he didn't want to burn his red shirt. So do you think that they should make the ball game that not count against the red shirt? I was wondering y'all's thoughts on that. But yeah, it depends on the situation, in my opinion, for that game. But sorry, go ahead, Leah, if you want to answer.
Yeah, that does make I do agree with you. I do think that they should keep the red shirt should be burned if you play a bowl game. Because really, the bowl game, while also you want to win it, you also are trying to look at the talent that you have for next season. It's an early look, preview, check out. Like Nussmeier, DB, it would have been nice for you to see what he could do in an early performance.
I don't like Nussmeier
next year.
I don't like Nussmeier, man. I told you my guy, man. I seen him he played Arkansas. I ain't impressed, man. I like Brennan. I told you, Brennan gave us the best shot.
Brennan just not all world either, but
yeah, he got enough arm, dude.
That's it,
bro. Come on, man. Bro. The dude's nice, man.
They think he's Joe. You think he's Joe Burrow part 2?
Yup, Joe Burrow part 2.
But anywho, I do think that a red shirt game they would be great to not have to be able to burn a red shirt because you want to look and see who you got for next season. You want to see, okay, he's not coming back, so you know what? Let's put a couple of young guys in this guy's spot and see. And it kind of could be an early preview, you know how they have obviously through preseason and fall camp and all this stuff, summer camp and all spring practice. It could be an early battle for starting positions. You could say we actually have tape on these two players playing the same position. It would benefit the coaches too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have intention of sticking around wherever they are instead of bouncing, like a lot of these coaches do. But so I do think that I think that there should be some sort of it doesn't count if you play and you're a red shirt in a bowl game.
Yeah. You got anything else to add, Leo? Anything else to add?
It's not about the bowl game. I was just another thing Josh picked that I think is pretty interesting. What do you think for spring games? Do you think they should, instead of playing against each other, how about you play maybe, I don't know, FCS opponent? I know it's during their season, but I think they could do it. That you could use it. I would be interested in that because you'd win the game, but the most important thing, and not just do that, you do it during the spring, then you play a real opponent in the fall. I think that would be interesting. I'd be interested in that instead of just watching play against my team. That's just fair. All
right, man. All right, so let me say this, man. Do I think is it okay for their players to opt out if they're high draft picks, got certain stats in the NFL draft? Yes, I think they can do whatever they want. If you're allowed to do it, you're allowed to opt out of a bowl game. Go ahead and do it. But I don't like to bring it to this part. The other side of it. What about the players that are not going to the NFL? That are not first round picks, or not even undrafted, won't even make the NFL undrafted, who may never play football again. What about those guys that got scholarships, got 4-year scholarships, these big schools, but are just not good enough to go to the NFL? So a bowl like the Rose Bowl or any bowl of that matter could be their last game they ever play of football. Because the reality is that for a lot of these guys, once they graduate out of college, they're not going to the NFL. They got to start looking for jobs. They got to start putting the Michigan, the Ohio State, Alabama education to use. And I'm willing to bet on the Ohio State roster, maybe a few starters on that team, probably on that offensive line or whoever, are not going to the NFL. And the Rose Bowl was their last time that they're going to ever play football. They ever put on a pads, helmet, Ohio State jersey. That's it. The Rose Bowl. And and growing up, in my day, the Rose Bowl was a big deal. the Rose Bowl was pretty much had the same type of hype as the actual national championship game itself. Before they made the changes and all that. But I'll say this: college football. This is college football's fault. They did this. They created this by not compensating the players. Just be honest. By not coming up with an idea where everybody compete for the playoffs. And then another thing. People, I see a lot of people online, get outraged. It's fake outrage of players getting hurt during these bowl games because they're a first round pick and they shouldn't play and all that, and calling the bowls meaningless. That's gonna happen in the CFP, man. Everybody ain't getting paid in these playoff games on these teams. It's NIL deals. Not everybody getting them. It could happen. That could happen anywhere, man. That could happen during the season. That could happen in a bowl game. That could happen in the CFP. Last year when Jalen Waddle was playing against Ohio State in that championship game, this dude had a limp, an actual limp. Everybody saw it. Let me ask y'all, did they need him though on that team in that game? They didn't even need Jalen Waddle. They already had Devontae Swift, but he played anyway. And I saw some people online, complaining and, well, why is Jalen Waddle in the game? He want to be in the game. I don't know.
I think I know because
he was limping. This dude had an actual limp.
Yeah, and a lot of people were criticizing Saban, and I know Saban. Saban was trying to protect him, but that was his last college game. That's what people gotta understand. So he wanted to play so badly. That's why he was supposed to. I think he was supposed to be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he was. He came back. I didn't think he was coming back.
Yeah, so the reason why he wanted to play because that was his last college. But eventually they sat him down. But when the game was out of hand, but they really didn't need him to. But he wanted to play. So sometimes some of these players they want to play. Same thing with Matt Corral. He wanted to play. He just unfortunately he got hurt. And so injuries happen. You're right about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, for everybody, man, that bowl game is everything. For certain people, a lot of people that's not gonna play football again is gonna get a job, a real job, not that doesn't involve the NFL. It's gonna be a regular 9 to 5. Playing the Sugar Bowl could mean everything. Even for Memphis, man, like for the guys that didn't go to the NFL on that 2019 squad, the Cotton Bowl is everything. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm not really get too upset when the players decide to opt out, man. It don't bother me one bit, man, because I know the jig with this stuff. And it's college football's fault that it's like this,
Well, can I have one more thing?
Go ahead, man.
I think even if you played some players, I still don't think they're playing the ball games. I just think they just don't think the risk is worth. It's not worth the risk. That's just my opinion. And so, like, you can pay them a lot of money, but they're thinking, is it worth getting hurt and losing more money when I get drafted? If you're blessed to be in that position. So unless if like you have a big time insurance policy, some people may consider it, but some people it's not worth the risk. That's just my opinion.
It's not like you talking like a regular player.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for example, like in Kenny Pickett, the quarterback for Pitt, he didn't play in the bowl game. Also, his OC went to Nebraska, so he didn't call the bowl game. So I think that had a little bit to do with that. But I bet you he just didn't feel the risk of playing in it. I mean, it was a nice bowl game, but he just led Pitt to a championship game, championship victory. That's pretty nice. And also, I don't think he felt it was worth the risk. And he's definitely going to be a first-round pick. And now he could potentially go as high as to the Panthers at 6 if they stay in that position. So you got to do what's best for you. There's only one life you live. These coaches are always doing what's best for them. Let these players do what's best for them. And the players that play, if they get hurt, they did it because they wanted to. I hate when some people say, well, now he should have fought out. He wanted to play.
Yeah, he wanted to play, man.
I get it. And then the players don't want to play, that's fine. And so that's the way we should look at it. I think too much has been made out of it.
Yeah.
And
Like, bro,
if you focus on the guys that are playing, then you realize, wow, I'm wasting my time with people that aren't playing instead of the people that are playing. That don't make any sense.
like it ruined a really good, Rose Bowl with these, this outrage. You know what I'm saying? It was a really good game, but it got overshadowed by what Kirk Herbstreit said. It was a really good game, but it is what it is. But I don't care, man. I don't care what these guys do. To be honest, they go in the NFL, and I could, criticize them and get at them when they get to the pros, man. But I'm cool with it, But anyways, moving right along. Now we're going to the NFL. And big game this week with Leo's Raiders and the L.A. Chargers. I almost said the San Diego Chargers, but the L.A. Chargers, the AFC rivalry, AFC West rivalries. I gotta ask this question, man, and get your feedback. Oh, he had to put the cap on. He had to go put the cap on, the Raiders cap. He had to go put. I ain't got my Saints cap. He had to go put his Raiders cap on.
Got my Chargers cap.
Dang. All right. But anyways, man, big game this week, man. A lot of playoff, implications on the line. We got the LA Chargers against the Las Vegas Raiders this week. Winning that game is going to the playoffs. Now I know there's a story out there where if the Jaguars beat the Colts, all the Chargers got to do is pretty much go into a tie and then the playoffs. But I don't see I don't see the Jaguars losing to the. I don't see the Jaguars beating the Colts, but you never know with today's NFL. So if they do beat them, it'll be interesting to see what the Chargers, the Raiders do on Sunday Night Football. It'll be an interesting day. But I want to ask y'all, outside of that, which team do you believe is under the most pressure to get to the playoffs? The Raiders or the Chargers? The Chargers hasn't been in the playoffs since 2018, and for the Raiders it's been like since 2016, that year that Carr had Jack Del Rio and he broke his leg. It hasn't been. It's been a while, and I want to ask y'all, which team is under the most pressure to get to the playoffs? And I'll circle it back to you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna start out with this one because I'm gonna say the Chargers, y'all. You know why?
Why?
The Chargers were expected to be the team after they got Anthony Lynn, after Anthony Lynn's quote unquote issue, and they got the new head coach and everything. Even though he's a defensive guy, they got the pieces right. This is supposed to be year 2 for Herbert to really take off, and he's taking off really. And also, I think the fact of the matter is the Chargers have more talent. The Raiders are supposed to be here. The Chargers are supposed to be here. They're supposed to be a playoff lock right now. They're roster-wise, DB. You talk about them. I know they've been decimated by COVID, as a lot of rosters have been, but talent-wise, they got a top 5 roster, I think, in the NFL.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, everybody's on the field. The Raiders, talent-wise, no. We don't have the talent, but we have hard workers and greedy players that are going to grind it out and help us win. So I think it's more pressure for the Chargers to win, because the Raiders aren't supposed to be here. When Gruden let go, that was supposed to be the end of our season. And when we were down against the Browns, that was supposed to be the end of our season. And we weren't supposed to beat the Colts. And there's a few other games.
Supposed to beat the Cowboys.
We weren't supposed to beat the Cowboys. Weren't supposed to be. There's a few teams we weren't supposed to beat, and we still prevailed and beat them. And so what that tells me, DB, is that while the Raiders aren't as much pressure as the Chargers, I think it's more important for the Raiders to win, because I think Herbert still has a lot to go. Like, if you were talking about who had more pressure, Herbert or Carr, I would say Carr, because Carr is 30. Carr has been in the league 8 years. Carr has been...
But only one playoff appearance, though.
And he didn't even play in the game, so that's the thing.
Yeah, sure.
If they don't make the playoffs this year, then you could say the Chargers have a bright future. The Raiders don't get in, what can you say about them?
Yeah, they're not supposed to be here.
We're not supposed to be here, but now that we're here, we might as well it's more pressure for us to take advantage of what we have, because I don't think it's that many more cracks for Carr. And I think this is really going to determine whether Carr's future with the Raiders. And I know Carr's played great, and I'm a huge Derek Carr fan, but I think they're looking at this game and says, if he can't win this game against this team, why should we keep going forward with him? I think that's going to determine. This game will determine whether I think he's with the Raiders next year.
You think it's be like a Stafford situation where he'd be like, "Hey man, I'm out. Hey, just let me go."
No, because Stafford never publicly said he wants to stay with Detroit for his whole career.
No.
Derek Carr said that publicly.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
If I'm traded somewhere else, I'm retiring. Which I do believe, because I think he's been invested. He's invested in this franchise, and they've invested in him. So I think I love to say, y'all, I hate making predictions, but I think the Raiders are going to win. I hope they win, but I think I'm interested to see who y'all think we're going to win.
I'm gonna hold my thoughts on that for the preview, my column this week for that game. But
okay, that's their game. That's your big game of the week.
Yeah, but I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna tell you who the pressure is, who got the pressure on it. But go ahead, Brian. If you finish.
Yeah, I agree with almost everything you said. The pressure is on the Chargers. They have their head coach. They have, arguably, I think they have the better quarterback. And they were supposed to make the playoffs this year. They really could have made it last year. They just could not hold on to their leads. But this year, they've done a much better job in game management. And now they have a chance to make the playoffs. So you got to win this game. It'll be interesting. That part about that scenario I said if the Jags lose. I think I saw something on Twitter that said Brandon Staley's going to try to win the game. So he's not going to try to tie. But I saw the guy saying, well, it would give you a 50% chance, but if you tie, it give you a 100% chance of making it. So why wouldn't you do that? Then this guy, like you play to win the game, but then this other guy was like, so in order to win the Super Bowl, you got to make the playoffs, and why not do what gives you the better chance of making the playoffs? But we're all gonna assume, or we're all believe that the Colts will beat the Jags, so then that won't matter. But this is also why the game should be simultaneous, so a team can't do that. But I understand why they made the Sunday night football game. All right, talking or not, let me close it out. So, yeah, the Chargers should win this game. I agree with some of what he's saying about maybe Derek Carr. This could be his last game. But I think this team, they're better. Their rebuild or retooling of their roster has gone a whole lot quicker than I thought. They get a few more pieces and get the right coach, maybe a Jim Harbaugh. That's who I would like for them to get. I think, or maybe even Rich Bisaccia. If you win this game, you sell a good vision to the owner, Mark Davis. Maybe he could keep it. But yeah, Derek Carr, you got to try to win this game. But the Chargers, the pressure's on them.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with y'all as well, man. I think the pressure's on the Chargers. Look at it. You fired Anthony Lynn. You felt like you needed somebody else to come in and lead the roster. You got pretty much a brand new stadium. You trying to build a fan base. You pretty much not the biggest ticket in town. I would say the biggest attraction in town right now. You're in Los Angeles. You sharing space with the Rams. You got the Lakers there. And if USC gets going, they're probably bigger than you as well. So you got a new stadium, quarterback that's pretty good wide receivers, running back is legit, tight ends. You got the whole 9 yards in my opinion. Defense should be playing better than what it should be, but it's not for whatever reason. And you got a defense head coach. I find kind of weird because I always thought Stanley was an offense guy, but when you look back at it, he's a defensive head coach under Sean McVay, so it makes him look like he's pretty smart. But the pressure's on the Chargers, man. They gotta win this game because like I said, they're in a big market. You know, it's pretty much second fiddle to the Rams, the Lakers, and winning this game with Justin Herbert takes you a long way in that town in regards to building up your fan base. But you gotta win this game because you felt like Anthony Lynn was the problem, and so you fired him. So I think the pressure's on the Chargers to win this game. But I mean, the Raiders got some deficiencies on defense that they can get at. The Chargers can hurt. So we'll see.
And vice versa. And there's some. If you watch that Texans Chargers game, which I did, I went back and watched some of that game. Davis Mills made some plays really. They're getting a lot of those defensive plays back, but Davis Mills made Chargers defense look really bad a few weeks ago. And I know they made a lot of adjustments when they beat the Broncos pretty handily last week. But I'm going back and watching the film myself, and I really just see. I think this is a game that could end up being high scoring, y'all. This could be a 30-something, 35-31 game. Like, those defenses, there is no steel curtains around. But interesting fact, y'all, this game could be irrelevant by Sunday night. Actually, if the Steelers win and the Jaguars win, both teams will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but your boy said he gonna try to win the game, man. So, if Staley, do you pull starters, or you take the chance and your boy get hurt? Now if your boy Herbert gets hurt, you know what? That's gonna be another outrage online. Why you playing your starters?
You play. I think we'll just see. Let's just wait and see what happens, because that scenario has to happen for that to happen. But I think you play to win the game.
And I think, go ahead.
Personally, if I was in that situation, I would maybe consider tying. But it's hard because you can only worry about what you can control. Because you can try to tie, but the other team may not want to do that. And so then you have to figure it out. But we'll see.
Y'all, this game is big. Like, this game's gonna be big. Like, I have several good friends, really good close friends to me who are big Chargers fans, and this game. If the Raiders lose this game, y'all, I have to shut my mouth for the whole year until we beat the Chargers again. I have to shut. And keep in mind, they played in week 3, but that's when we had Gruden. They beat us 28-14 on that big Monday Night Football game. But I think a lot has changed in 14 weeks. It's that Raiders team. I think even though it was 3-0 at the time, I think it got better. Those season is going on. Even though we went through adversity and we've overcome that. And like you said, I think us still being here, the Chargers shouldn't be in a playing game. Like, they should be a playoff team, clinched already with that talent. We're happy to. Hopefully, we don't play with a "we're happy to be here" mentality, because I hate when teams do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they get blown away. So I just hope I'm just really hoping that Derek Carr steps up and plays well. And I think our key will be Josh Jacobs established early, because while Carr is going to have his weapons and all that, we're going to use Winfrey, and we should get Waller back. Waller's coming back. Waller will be back now. He hasn't played since week 12, and he will be coming back. I think he will be a matchup nightmare. Their first game, they didn't use him that much, and I was really mad about that. But this game, expect full Waller, and I think a big dose of Josh Jacobs, and I think it'll be served to the Raiders' advantage. They're playing at home too, so big game. But I got a question for you. What do you give the Saints chance to make the playoffs? Do you think the Niners, having beaten the Rams 5 straight times, can finally lose to them? Can y'all beat the Saints, y'all beat the Falcons, or is it? Yeah.
I think we can beat the Falcons, and I think the I think the 49ers is not gonna win this game, man. I know they got the Rams number, but I think the Rams want the second seed. They want to win a division, and that's gonna be enough to allow them to beat the 49ers. On top of that, Jimmy Garoppolo ain't 100%. I mean, he got a thumb issue on his throwing hand, and if they go with Trey Lance in that game, that tells me that they're kind of like preparing for the future, man. 'Cause I just don't really think Trey Lance could beat that Rams team right now. And I know that when you have a young quarterback like that and there's not too much tape on him, they tend to do better. But I don't think it happened on this Sunday. So I think the Saints could beat the Falcons, and I think the Rams could beat the 49ers, and I think the Saints get in. But Saints got to take care of business against the Falcons, because last time they played, the Saints lost, because that's what the Saints do. They lose to teams that they should lose to and beat the teams that they should get blown out by. But I think the Saints going to the playoffs, man, with that, with the roster that it has right now.
Another thing, y'all, Brian, I I have to ask you. I know it's kind of late, but Brian, what's your reaction to a lot of people saying that the Titans are a weak number 1 seed?
I mean, it is kind of true. Even though I'm a fan, I'm an objective fan. So, yeah, we're one of the worst number 1 seeds in recent memory. Assuming we beat the Texans, and that's not a given. I'm kind of worried about that game because they haven't seen Davis Mills, and he's a pretty solid quarterback. But we should win that game. And Derrick Henry, even though he's going to be coming back, I really don't have a lot of expectations for him to be even though they'll use him, I hope they keep Foreman and at least one other back because he's going to need a adjustment period where he gets back to his normal self. But, yeah, I think it's true. The Titans aren't a big-time number 1 seed, and I wouldn't be surprised if they lose their first playoff game. But I'm at least we make it to the AFC. If there's one team I'm fine with us losing to, even though I hate it, is the Chiefs because their star power's too bad.
What about the Bengals, man?
The Bengals are good, but we should beat the Bengals.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
They're not buying. They didn't want a division. I remember when y'all weren't buying the Bengals. I bought them. I thought the Steelers would win the division. I'm not gonna lie, but y'all picked the Ravens to win the division.
I did. But
I think the Bengals will make the playoffs. Y'all said y'all didn't buy the Bengals. Y'all still buy? Are you slipping on some of that Bengals juice, DB?
Somewhat, yeah, man. After I realized how bad Baltimore was, how banged up they were. I was like, you know what, Leo was right. The Bengals are pretty good, man. They gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a like the Ravens could bounce back. But I don't think it's gonna be a runaway with the division, anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be tough for Baltimore to win that division like that, like they used to. But Bengals are pretty good, man. They really sold me this past 2 weeks the way they played Kansas City. And what's scary about it, I said this before, is that nobody's getting paid yet. They're really not paying nobody yet, outside of Joe Mixon. So that makes them even dangerous. And I heard some chatter online about Justin Jefferson not being happy in Minnesota with Zimmer. So imagine what if he links back up with Burrow in Cincinnati with Chase?
Well, that's not fair. That's not fair. They will have.
It would be nice to dream. Maybe free agency.
Bro.
Or maybe if they offer a few first-round picks, maybe they consider that. But I don't see that happening. And Zimmer may be out, so then you don't have to worry.
Like I heard a tweet somewhere is that from a verified account is that there was a point where Jefferson didn't speak to Zimmer in days. It was a few weeks ago, but I'm like, yo, what's up with that? But man, if you relate with those guys, man, all you missing is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but you got Joe Mixon. But like I said, nobody's getting paid yet, man. Nobody's getting paid.
Yeah.
So the Bengals are smart, man.
Only 2 players that are getting paid are, like you said, Mixon and Tyler Boyd.
And Tyler, it's not even that much.
Yeah, Boyd signed it at his time. Well, if you look at his deal now, it's very undervalued.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was a really good deal. But Boyd gets paid. His extension was pennies.
Yeah, and then they got the tight end.
Yep.
And T. Higgins was like a 2nd-round pick. They getting a bargain on that dude. Big time.
For sure. They're going to be up there. And then we know about you. A lot of people say how Jamar would adjust to the NFL. I think those questions have been answered. Has he even exceeded DB? I know you watch. You're an LSU guy. You watch Jamar during your time there. Has he even exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, he did, man. I didn't think he would come out like this. I didn't. And I thought the Bengals should have went offensive line. I was like everybody else. Should have got offensive line. But that shows you how important it is to block out the noise when you're running an NFL franchise.
Yeah.
You gotta block that out, man. You gotta hey, we felt like Joe Burrow needed a wide receiver.
Not just any wide receiver that he has good chemistry with.
Yeah, that was a smart move, man.
Yeah. I'm surprised he even lasted that far. I thought he could have been taken high.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. I think that's the really smart decision by them. Man, looking a little silly with their takes.
Yeah, I know. I've been stopped fussing. I've been stopped complaining about it. But anyways, man, another game. The Houston Texans, right? Didn't fall like everybody thought they would fall. They're a lot better than what people thought they were gonna be. They play hard, man. I heard that Cully might be coming back next year.
Yeah, he should.
You know, he deserves it.
They need to make some sense of that Deshaun Watson situation. Like, he's either going to play there or he's going to be traded. Like, I don't need to see him on the roster if he's not playing or being traded. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's been too long. Like, we went through a whole season. I'm not playing. I'm not going to lie. A lot of teams, hey, what if the Saints y'all are Martin Reed quarterback. What would you think about the Saints trading for Deshaun Watson? Like, trying to make space happen. Would you give up a few of your star defensive players and maybe a few picks for him?
I don't know, man. That's tough, man, because I will give up picks before I give up the players. You know, I think it's a Super Bowl type defense because, you know, if you do that, man, you're probably gonna waste it. You know what I'm saying? I just think they need a quarterback right now, but I don't think they should give up players in regards in return for a quarterback. And I don't think they should draft one either. I'd rather them bring back Jameis Winston or go get a free agent. Because I think you could be like Chicago. And what I seen by I don't want to be like Chicago is that Chicago has a really good defense, but it doesn't matter because you got a rookie QB.
Yeah. And their ceiling is only so high offensively.
Yeah. So, and we got better weapons than Chicago. So I rather Saints bring back Jameis Winston or go the free agent route and get Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson without giving away the form. I know that's gonna probably be impossible, but I don't want them to trade nobody out of the defense, man. Nobody.
Especially Cam Jordan. He's going nowhere.
Yeah, Cam Jordan going crazy since the COVID. I don't know what happened.
Most I'm gonna say, if Deshaun goes anywhere, I'll be shocked if he's not a Miami Dolphin. I saw a tweet where they could get him and still have a lot of cap space. I just feel like I don't want to say it's guaranteed, but it's highly likely he'll be with the Dolphins.
Dolphins?
I think they want to go all on it and try to win a Super Bowl. I love Tua, and this streak they went on was pretty nice, but they need a for sure a proven commodity.
What if the Steelers get involved?
So what?
What if the Steelers throw the hand in the hat? The hand in the hat, man.
Maybe, but I think he wants to go to. Where would you rather live, Miami or Pittsburgh?
I go to Miami.
Yeah, that's an easy.
I go to Miami, man. But
no state tax. It's kind of like just a nicer version of Texas. You think about it.
Yeah.
No state tax, better weather.
But the thing about the Steelers is that they got the history of winning.
Yeah, but they'll need to make. I feel like the Dolphins need. I feel like the Dolphins are closer than the Steelers are. That's just my opinion.
Nah, I disagree.
You're probably right, but I'd rather see him in Miami. I'd rather see Aaron Rodgers in
yeah, Aaron Rodgers go to Pittsburgh. That's what I'm thinking.
I wouldn't be surprised if he stays. Now, I'm thinking that there's a chance he can stay in Green Bay, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, moving right along. Last topic of the night is that the Jaguars conducted their round of interviews with a few head coaches, and one of them was give me a second real quick. One of them was former Detroit Lions and Indianapolis head coach Jim Caldwell. So I got the report pulled up on Jaguars Wire USA Today that goes into the details of them interviewing Jim Caldwell, and I just want to ask y'all a question based on this interview. So let me see right quick. Give me a second. All right. Jaguars are interviewing Jim Caldwell today in person at an undisclosed location outside of Jacksonville, just as they did Thursday with Doug Peterson, likely to do the same with Packers OC. His name is Nathaniel Hackett. Yeah. Caldwell is certainly an intriguing candidate who has been associated with the Jags due to having head coaching experience. In addition to holding their role with the Lions, with the Lions from 2014 to 2017, he was a head coach for their division rivals, Indianapolis Colts, from 2009 to 2011. Throughout those stints, he went 62 and 50 and was 2 and 4 in the playoffs. Additionally, he was able to earn a few Super Bowl titles as assistant head coach under Tony Dungy in the Super Bowl, the Super Bowls with Tony Dungy and John Harbaugh. In addition to his role as a head coach, Caldwell held NFL roles with the Bucks, Colts before becoming the head coach. Baltimore Ravens and Miami Dolphins. He was also the Baltimore Ravens and Miami Dolphins quarterback coach as well as offensive coordinator role with the Ravens. Caldwell also held coaching roles with the Dolphins, Colts, was an interim offensive coordinator for Baltimore before having the interim tag removed. Many fans have deemed Caldwell as the best fit for the Jags because he seems like a candidate who is the complete opposite of Meyer in terms of leadership and experience. Additionally, his resume as a quarterbacks coach should be a huge deal for Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't had the rookie season fans were hoping for. All right. So I want to ask y'all this. So I've been hearing a lot of reports about how the Jaguars are seriously considering hiring a coach like Jim Caldwell to come in, clean things up, or Doug Peterson. But I want to ask y'all: do you think this is because they interviewed Caldwell because it was a popular thing to do? That's the chatter online, or because they try to satisfy the Rooney Rule, or they really want him to be their head. They're really serious about considering him as a head coach.
I'll go with this. That's a good question. I mean, we know one of the main reasons why they bring him in is to satisfy the Rooney Rule. I mean, that's just obvious. But I also do think they're seriously considering him as a head coach. But obviously, does that mean they'll ultimately hire him? Again, I told you who I prefer. I prefer Doug Peterson. You saw my article that I wrote.
Yeah. We got a lot of pushback on that. Well, not pushback, but mix it up. Yeah.
And so, but if they got with Jim Caldwell, look at what the Lions were with Jim Caldwell, and look at what they were without him. That tells you how good of a coach he is. So, if he gets this, I'll applaud the hire. He hires as his OC. Will be very interested. I think the defense, he can get that, but the offense coordinator will be very, very critical. But I think he'll be a great hire. Jim Caldwell's a really good coach. Arguably one of the most underrated coaches in NFL history. He's a really good coach. He's a good culture setter. There's the biggest thing with Jacksonville is they need a culture setter. Some people have mentioned Jim Harbaugh for that job, but the number one thing is the culture. And I feel like if they get a guy like Jim Caldwell there, he'll change the culture. And I think it'll help the franchise, not just now, but for years to come.
I think Caldwell would be a version of a safe hire. I think for a lot of teams, you don't want to hear about safe hires and all that, but Jacksonville needs a guy that's going to get this team off the ground. Because ever since they made that AFC Championship appearance, which has been an anomaly really compared to the last decade of pretty much virtual irrelevance, if we all really could say. And so, really, I think Caldwell's not the coach of the future, but he's the best coach for right now. And I think also, guys, you have to look at the fact that he is also 66 years of age, and he may not have much time left. Not saying, oh, God can't get it done. Blues it showed us that, but he is, like I said, Brian, like you said, he is a tone setter. He is a guy that will bring leadership and veteran qualities to the position. But I would be hesitant on hiring him simply because while yes, he has done great with all the teams he's been with in terms of even the Lions to the playoffs, which is not easy to do, and going to the Super Bowl with the Colts, which going to the Super Bowl is not easy to do. I have a question of whether I really think that, like I said, my question is longevity. Am I hiring Jim Caldwell to be the coach for 3 years, for 2 years? Because when I hire a coach, I don't want to hire. If I'm Jacksonville, I want to hire a guy that's going to be there a long term. But at the same time, I could also see why they would hire a guy like Caldwell, because maybe you get Caldwell in there for 2 or 3 years, he builds his thing back up, and it becomes more of an attractive job to a big name that you get down the line. So you have to look at that standpoint too. Do we want a guy that's going to help build this up for him maybe to retire in 3 or 4 years when and when he's may not want to coach due to his age maybe, or do you want to get a young guy that's maybe invested like maybe a Doug Peterson's in his late 40s, but he's young enough to stick around for a rebuild, and I think he'd take the job. But really a name that I would look at for that job, and I like Caldwell personally. Why not take a look at him? I know his name hasn't been as vibrant as it normally used to be. What's happened to the Eric Bieniemy? I feel like his training has really slowed down, even though he really should be speeding up. That Chiefs offense turned around, and I don't know why is he not getting any love for this job.
I'll let you
go ahead, man.
Oh, you won't? All right. Number one, EV. I'm getting to the point. I won't be surprised. I'll be surprised to get to interview. I'm not even joking. That's the point I'm doing. Not saying he doesn't deserve one, but I feel like when you get all these interviews and nobody hires you, it makes people start to wonder. And so I hope I'm wrong. I hope he gets an interview. And also, they did interview him last year, so maybe that's why they didn't. They still could interview him, but they probably know what they may just not feel he's the right fit. And then another thing I would say, I don't think that's granted. I don't know, 66. He's only 66. You can coach for a long time. But I mentioned this earlier on one of our podcasts weeks back. If they want to do something like you're saying, why not hire Byron Leftwich as the OC? He can be the coach in waiting. He can learn. He learned under Bruce Arians. He can learn under Jim Caldwell and then take this thing over. I'm not sure if he wants to do that because he has a nice gig with Jacksonville. But Tom Brady ain't going to be there forever. And once Tom Brady leaves, I'd rather look at the future with Trevor Lawrence than just the present with Tom Brady, because he won't be here forever. So I think that could work. But I'll go with Doug Peterson, like I said. But if they hire Jim Caldwell, there's nothing wrong with that. Who he hires as his OC will be very critical. And who knows? Look, this may be a discussion we'll have to have next year if Trevor Lawrence continues to not play at the level we expected him to play. Maybe he's just not that guy. And that's something else they can find out. But, yeah, I think that I'll be shocked if he gets an interview with the Jags, since he already interviewed him last year. But I hope he gets a job, but I'm really worried about his situation.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. So, the way I say it is this. Are you hiring him for to be like a placeholder for somebody else? Or you bringing him in for a long-term situation? You know, like I said before, man, like with Stan Van Gundy and with the Pelicans, the narrative was that he wasn't a long-term stay. He was just a guy that's gonna build it up, establish a culture, and set it up for the next guy. And I don't know if he's gonna be. I know he could turn it around and all that, but when people say that Trevor Lawrence is a, generational talent, a transcendent type of quarterback, he may need a quarterback like that may need more than that. More than a guy that's a placeholder. You just need somebody to come in right now and establish, that chemistry with him. Now I know Caldwell could probably turn around, but I'm not sure if they want him to be there long term. And I think a lot of people would be upset at that if Caldwell gets let go after 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying? You want him to get hired, but you want him to, be hired a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I think He just got to get the coach right, man. The coach situation, squared away first before they could go any further. Because Trevor Lawrence didn't show me that he is a transcendent talent. He didn't show me that at all. And I believe that if you're recognized as a generational talent, you should be able to a certain extent, you should be able to overcome bad coaching to a certain extent. You saw what Andrew Luck did in his first year with the Colts. First 3 years with the Colts. He did it until he couldn't do it no more mentally. He overcame bad. He had bad coaching, bad surroundings. And then Trevor Lawrence didn't show me that. So I don't think he's good. He's going to be a great quarterback, but I don't think he's the next best thing. But I don't know. I mean, Jim Caldwell will work, man. But yes, they did want to do the. It is part of the Rooney Rule to me. It's satisfy the Rooney Rule, and then go from there. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a good idea for Caldwell. A good fit, man. Like I prefer if there was like a team that wasn't rebuilding, like the Raiders. That would be a good spot for Caldwell.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. A rebuilding job like Jacksonville, man. I don't know, man. I just think to me. I kind of like compare him to John Gruden, where he does better with veteran talent, teams that's already that needs to take that next step to a championship or a playoffs, compared to a team that doesn't have a culture at all. To me, because I think, like I said, I told you this in the last pod. I think there are better jobs than the Jacksonville one. Way better.
Yeah. Two things I was gonna say. Another name to watch out for: Nathaniel Hackett. He was with the Jaguars, and he's with the Packers. He's learned, and they're having a lot of success. So I could see them making that hire. That kind of like be the Sean McVay hires, since he's with Matt LaFleur having success. They make that hire. But Jim Caldwell, I think he knows that he may not get another chance to coach sooner rather than later. So that's why he's taking all these interviews. He interviewed with the Texans last year. I can't remember if he interviewed with another team last year too, other than that. But I know he interviewed with the Texans. So you take the opportunities you can. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention. He was also the offensive coordinator with the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl. I remember someone saying that they fired Marty Menway. I can't remember his name, but they fired one guy, and they had him.
Joe Flacco.
And he ended up helping them win the Super Bowl. So that's another thing add to his resume. But like I said, the staff will be very, very important, because I feel like college especially, but in the NFL, if the Jaguars are a young team, so you need younger coaches that can relate to the players a little better. That's why the OC, if they don't hire Byron Leftwich, I would look at Joe Brady. I think he'd be a good OC for Trevor Lawrence. You can relate to him pretty well. But again, Jim Caldwell is a proven coach. You know what you're going to get. Like a lot of these, we want to interview these coordinators who are unproven. They may have been good coordinators, but they've yet to prove it as a head coach. Jim Caldwell has. So I don't know if he'll get the job, but an interview is a step in the right direction. Let me ask y'all this. Do you think he ultimately gets a job? I personally say he doesn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Do you think he gets a job?
I don't think he gets a job, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Like I said, if the Minnesota moves on from Zimmer, that'd be a great spot for Caldwell. Kirk Cousins with Caldwell will be pretty good. I think the team is ready to play. I think that team's ready to contend for a title with the right coach.
Another name to watch out for, Patrick Graham, the DC for the Giants. He turned down an interview from the Jets last year, but now he's open for interviews. He's a smart guy. He went to Yale. He came from the Belichick tree. He's another name to watch out. Not for this job, for just in general.
Hey, what about Dennis Allen, man? Dude, listen. Wait. People giving Sean Payton all that credit Which is right. He deserves it because of what the Saints going through right now, and in the the race for a playoff spot. But a lot of that credit should be going to Dennis Allen, man. Dennis Allen should be considered for a head coaching job, man.
Yeah, I think he should get another shot. That's fair.
Dennis Allen in Chicago would be great.
Then you need to get, if that's the case, then you need to give Raheem Morris a shot then too, because he at least had a winning record in the season when he was coaching. Give Raheem a shot too then.
Yeah, that's true. But is that Rams? Hey, I look at the stats, man. That Rams defense is not that good, despite the personnel that's on it.
Yeah, they should be better.
But look at the stats, man. They're not that good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of Staley did a really good job, and I feel like that top end, as good as the Rams defense, I think that was gonna be hard to do. He's done a good look. The Rams offense has not the past few games. They've been able to win them. The offense didn't play too well against the Ravens, and that's something Matt Stafford turning the ball over. But Raheem Morris is doing the best he can. Mm-hmm. I don't think you should just look at 1 year if you're judging a coach. You should look at the entire body of work.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
But yeah, but Raheem Morris should get consideration for a head coaching job. But like I said, coaches like Raheem Morris, Dennis Allen, Jim Caldwell, I think, in my opinion, they're better suited. They're going to do what they want to do regardless. I think they're better suited for jobs for where it's already, they're already veterans on the team. They just need a different voice. Not a rebuilding job like Jacksonville. Not a rebuilding job. Like Leftwich, like for Byron Leftwich, I think Jacksonville would be great for him.
I don't know. Do you think? I feel like that's a tough first job to have.
Yo, I mean,
that's just me.
It is a tough job to have. It's like Detroit. Texas is bad. Texas is not bad. I'm telling you, the Texans are not far off as everybody think they are. To me. And I heard they hired on Davis Mills, so they might not even get a quarterback.
Yeah, they might not even draft a quarterback. They might just keep. They may just keep Davis Mills.
And based on the latest mock draft that are coming out, is that Aiden Hutchinson has overstepped. What's his name? Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau is the number one pick in the draft. That's crazy. So, I think, if it was me, if I was an OC or a DC for a job, I would take the Minnesota job, man. If I couldn't get that job, I probably would go back to my regular duties. I probably would, man.
I may do that, but I've always taken an interview. Another name, I'm just looking at the list right here. What about Todd Bowles?
The thing about Todd Bowles, man, this is my thing with hiring defensive-minded coaches. And I don't know why they do this. Defensive-minded coaches struggle to evolve. And they got this mentality to where they got to have their fingers on everything, every aspect of the football team. You know what I'm saying? You even see it in college, bruh. They're very conservative. The majority of the offense is very run dominant. You know what I'm saying? Even in Minnesota, their offense runs to a running back, despite them having Jefferson, what the other guy, the white guy name is, the wide receiver? Thielen.
Adam Thielen.
Weapons. I mean, I think he's held them back. That's just me, man. I would just wait it out and give me the better job, man. Like Minnesota or something, or the Chicago job. Then again, like Chicago, man, they got a history of just not drafting right on offense.
What was I going to say? The one thing I'll say about defensive coaches, that point about running the ball, at first I just felt like they just did it for physicality. But the reason why they do that, I saw it, and it was a good point. They do it so their defenses aren't on the field as long. That's why they do that.
Yeah, just like Todd Bowles just lack creativity. So wherever he goes, he needs to. It's imperative that he hires a good OC, and stay out the way.
That's what every defensive guy. He was. I don't know if I told you this. When he was with the Jets, he wanted to hire Matt Nagy. It'll be interesting if he does that now that he's available. Or does he try to bring Byron Leftwich or find someone else? But I think he deserves another shot. He's a good enough coach. He may even, if Bruce Arians retires, he could maybe replace him in Tampa Bay. Who knows? But Todd Bowles definitely deserves another shot.
For sure.
Yeah,
He's earned it. He's the last coach that leads the Jets to win record. They did go 10-6.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Who?
Yeah, I mean, he went 10-6 with the Jets, and I think it was in 2015.
Yeah, the year that he had Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he's shown the ability that he can win. That's why I'm not high on Dennis, because at least Raheem and Bowles had winning seasons. They had some times where they had some success. The Dennis Allen era in with the Raiders, I don't even want to.
Look what he had though. He had Jamarcus Russell, man. Like.
Nah, he had Derek Carr.
Yeah, he did. Then they fired him, and they fired him that year. That was the year he got fired.
Yeah.
He had Derek Carr. I'm guessing it must have been a lucky year.
Yeah, he drafted Derek Carr.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had Derek Carr.
Yeah, man. But that's just me. I wouldn't. Or I would take the Denver job.
Oh, that's a sneaky good job, because talent-wise, they're there. They just need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just took back away. They're like the Bucks. If you think about it, a few years ago, they get a quarterback. I think they can win a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, he's been rumored. Russell Wilson. Someone else. I follow. Benjamin Albright. I follow him.
He's alright. He's too bad. He's alright. He's cool.
He's funny sometimes.
He's cool.
What about Mayfield to Denver? I'm not saying he's a game changer, but if you can't get an elite quarterback, I don't think that's a bad. What's the right word? Consolation prize. If you can't get one of these elite quarterbacks, he's better than Bridge. What about a Baker for Bridgewater trade?
Why would they even do that, man? Why would you?
Cleveland gets worse.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know about that. They may just need a change of scenery. They're both about equal quarterbacks, so maybe that's why he done it. I don't think it's an upgrade. It'll just be a change of scenery. That'd be it.
Hey, one last question, man. One last question. Do y'all think Josh McDaniels is overrated?
No.
I think he deserves another shot. The question is,
Deserve a shot? He had a shot. He didn't take it.
In Denver. My thing is, will he actually?
I don't see nothing he does though.
Go to the job and not go back up like he did with the Colts.
I don't see nothing he does though. With his offense, that's spectacular. Besides bubble passes to running backs and wide receivers.
He's good at scheming. Think about what he's doing with Mac Jones and what he was able to get out of.
What he did with it. What he did with it.
He helped them get to the playoffs. Now the defense.
The defense, man, bro. Mac Jones got exposed, bro. When they're down by a large deficit and they have to throw it, he struggles. He got exposed, man.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say he got exposed. He's a rookie. He's still learning, but to get them to the playoffs, that's pretty good in his rookie season. That's really, really, in my opinion.
If I'm a GM, I wouldn't consider Josh McDaniels, man, because I think he's a little overrated.
Consider him. Whether I ultimately hire him, I don't know.
I wouldn't even consider him.
It depends on my situation.
I wouldn't consider him. Let me tell you who I consider, man. Bieniemy, Dennis Allen, Leftwich. That's my top three. And I like Raheem Morris-ish.
What about Brian Dable?
And Brian Dable. That's my five right there. Everybody else.
What about, I think you said it earlier, one time, Pep Hamilton.
Yeah, Pep. Pep's so underrated, man. Pep Hamilton. Who else? Yeah, that's about it, man. Everybody else, suspect.
He needs to get him a situation where he's calling plays.
He's in Houston, right?
Yeah, but Tim Kelly's calling plays. But the reason why they did that is they thought Deshaun Watson was going to be back, so they wanted continuity there. But he needs to get him a situation where you can call plays. Because, that's the one thing. I'm not saying it should matter because calling plays doesn't mean everything, but I feel like for a black coordinator, you almost have to
Yeah.
get a job because if you don't, they'll use it against you.
Yeah, it would. It's messed up. It is. It's messed up, man. We got so many things come against us, man. With these jobs, it's just we gotta dominate every time we get an opportunity, you know. But anyways, man, that's all we have for y'all for right now, man. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, listen to us through YouTube. Let us know your thoughts on these topics we talked about. If you listen to us through Apple, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, leave a review, let us know how you feel. Hate, comment, like, subscribe, and let us know. Also, check out strike7sports.com for its content on the NFL, the NBA, and much more. Where we have the college football playoff preview and prediction coming up. Raiders Chargers is our game of the week prediction for this week. Our final prediction game for this 2021 season. And also, we'll be doing top 14 playoff, top NFL playoff power rankings post. That should be coming out next week. And we also be getting into the NBA season and Memphis basketball as well. That's all we have for y'all for right now. Have a blessed night. Happy New Year. Peace. We out.